Adam Stern reporting that within the next 3 weeks, we could possibly have some of the Stewart-Haas Racing charters sold. We got some interesting entries for the Coke 600, and is there a possible extra hurdle for Kyle Larson trying to pull off the double? Let's get into it. Coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, first things first. Adam Stern is reporting that we could possibly see at least some of the Stewart-Haas charters sold within the next 3 weeks. Let's jump into the article from the Sports Business Journal. NASCAR charter market sees supply rise with SHR assets possibly stopping upward price trend. Adam Stern. NASCAR charter prices have been on an upward trend the last several years, but that march could be halted, at least temporarily, if Stewart-Haas Racing unloads several of them over the coming months as expected, according to industry executives familiar with the matter. The assets, which are NASCAR's version of franchising for teams, have risen from being worth a couple $1 million in the opening years of the system to the most recent sale, a purchase last year by Spire Motorsports from Live Fast, being for a number that approached $40 million. So that kind of makes sense. That would track. If there's more of them out there, the market for it would be lower, right? Because scarcity creates value. So if there's 4 of them as compared to the one charter that Spire bought there for $40 million, you wouldn't expect 4 to go for $40 million a piece because there's just too much out there. But we'll have to see how it plays out. But it does financially make sense that there's more supply then there would be, less necessarily demand, so you wouldn't get the same price possibly that Spire paid for theirs. Teams are allowed to have up to 4 each. SHR controls 4 charters and is said to be the team most likely to sell one this season amid a steep drop in sponsor revenue. They've lost 8 figures in just the past year due to departures of Anheuser-Busch, Smithfield Foods, and Hunt Brothers Pizza. Since then, neither team co-owners Tony Stewart or Gene Haas have addressed the rumors, which have only intensified, according to industry sources, as well as published reports from Fox Sports. Fox reported earlier this month that Stewart-Haas has sent prospective buyers information on what it would take to purchase a charter. So there you go. Stewart-Haas has not commented on this yet, at least officially, so it's still speculation as to whether or not they will sell the charters. But the fact that Adam Stern promoted this article by putting this out here saying that it could come within the next few weeks that they are going to sell, and also those rumors leaking out that they have basically been shopping around. This is how much this, and this would cost if you want to buy it. It leads everybody to basically know that at least 1 or 2 of those charters are going to be up for sale. And the Front Row merger and all that are the big speculation. So the only thing I think that really needs to be figured out now is, are all 4 charters for sale, or are only 2 charters for sale and you're going to merge with Front Row? That seems to be the only thing that doesn't seem to be absolutely concrete at this point. With the possibility SHR could sell as many as 4 of its charters, supply has shot up in the charter market at the same time that teams have yet to strike a new revenue-sharing agreement with NASCAR. Those factors are depressing prices, at least temporarily, sources said. SHR could sell each charter for between $20 to $30 million apiece, industry sources familiar with charter market dynamics say. So there you go. The charter agreement hasn't been picked back up by NASCAR. They're still negotiating that. So obviously that's going to draw the price down as well. So that's a really good point that's made there. And also, like I said, with 4 of those charters being up there, that's a lot more than Spire paid for theirs. So you're looking at about a $10 million drop from what Spire paid for theirs to what you could possibly, at least, as to possibly what you could pay for one of these SHR charters when they go on the market, or if they go on the market. Teams that have been said to be in the mix to purchase SHR charters include 2311 Racing, Trackhouse Racing, and Front Row Motorsports. An announcement on the charter sales could come within weeks. According to sources, due to the uncertainty around SHR, some of its drivers and their agents have started reaching out to other teams about options for next year in case they lose their seat, according to 3 people familiar with the matter. So there you go. It's getting serious, and that's basically what lets you know that nobody really knows what's going on, because the drivers don't even know if they're going to have a seat yet. They don't know if they're going to merge. They don't know if Stewart-Haas is selling all the way out. But they're just being proactive and saying, hey, we're going to reach out to these teams just in case we don't have a ride over here next season with either Front Row or Stewart-Haas Racing, however that deal goes down and wherever those charters go. So it's going to be really interesting because I think they've got a lot of really good talent over there. Ryan Preece has yet to show in the Cup Series what he can do in the modifieds, but definitely I think he's a talented driver. Noah Gragson has come into his own this season. He has had some really good runs this year, especially compared to his other rookie season of last year. And then you've got Chase Briscoe. He's been in the playoffs before. And Josh Berry, he showed what he can do in late models. He showed what he can do in Xfinity. And he is starting to run good. Just had a really good finish at Darlington. So I think a lot of really good stuff going on over there driver-wise. So I think a lot of those guys will have a lot of options if they don't come back to Stewart-Haas Racing or if those seats are taken away from them. But I do think at least one of those drivers will be shuffled out, so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And of course, the teams that want to buy those charters, I don't think anybody is surprised by those teams that want to buy those charters. Those names have been out there for like a really long time, so really no need to comment too much about that. We know who the main players are. I think the only thing that needs to be mentioned there is possibly RFK might be interested in one, and I think RCR might also be interested in one. So I think you could see some wild card action possibly from them. Speaking of RCR, Richard Childress would support Kyle Busch if he wanted to run the Indy 500 Charlotte Double in 2025. Kyle's call to make that decision. I'd support it for sure, says Richard Childress. That from NASCAR on NBC. So it looks like Richard Childress is giving Kyle Busch the green light. Obviously, Kyle Busch in a contract year. So basically, he's probably feeling good that Kyle Busch is coming back if he's making that statement, I would imagine. So there you go. Or is he politicking to get Kyle Busch to come back to basically be like, hey, if you race with us, you can still race the Indy 500? I don't know, a lot going on there. But anyway, speaking of the Indy 500, Kyle Larson qualified 5th, and he is going to be running the double. But there could possibly be a extra hurdle for him getting to the track. Let's look at these articles. Matt Weaver saying Donald Trump potential Coca-Cola 600 appearance could impact Kyle Larson's weekend double. And Bob Pockrass responding to the fact that Donald Trump could be coming to the Coke 600, saying if this happens, potentially could impact Kyle Larson's travel into Charlotte track on Sunday. I'm not going to get super political with it. People either like the guy or they don't like the guy, and it completely paints how they see this. I think the Secret Service knows what they're doing. I think they would know the schedule of what everything that's going on before any of this happens. So I'm pretty sure that they have a plan in place for Kyle Larson to get to the racetrack. They would be very aware of that. It's very easy to track which planes are coming in, and I mean, just for a political good move or whatever, Trump could send his own vehicle in there to bring Kyle Larson to the track. That would gain him, political points or something like that. So, and I don't care which way you vote either way. That being said, I don't think this is going to be a big deal one way or the other. It just is what it is. I think there's going to be a plan in place for him to get there. They would be aware of it beforehand. But just remember this for the sake of the comments. Republicans are red. Democrats are blue. Neither one gives a crap about you, so just remember that before you get to arguing in the comments about who you like politically. All right. Trackhouse Racing announcing, bet you didn't see this coming, SVG will pilot this Focused Health Stealth Bomber for Colleague Racing at Charlotte. And the Money Team Racing, the part-time NASCAR outfit associated with Floyd Mayweather, has rebranded to Team Amerivet and will enter the Coke 600 with Ty Dillon as part of a new deal with financial broker Amerivet SEC. J.J. Yaley coming in with New York Racing in the 44, and Jimmy Johnson, of course, will also be running in the 84 car for Legacy, and Kaz Grala will be back in the 15. So there are all of sort of your extra entries or guys that are either part-time or partial time in the Cup Series making their Coke 600 start. All right, that's all I got for you on this one. If you made it this far, I would love to have your subscription. If not, I'll keep making these things. If you're already subscribed, I appreciate you guys as well. If you got a question, comment, or anything like that, leave it down in the comments section. I try to get to as many of them as I can. If you want to help out the channel, visit the merch store. The link is in the description. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace. Live stream tonight at 8 p.m. Let's go.